I have seen shit that'll turn you white. That's my Winston from Ghostbusters impersonation. Look, I've even got my Winston costume on, but I didn't do the, Well, I'm very excited because this April I'll be meeting Ernie Hudson, who played the Winston Zeddemore character in the Ghostbusters movies. In fact, I'll be meeting him twice. Once at the Astor Theatre with the Delt experience to get a photo op, and the second time will be at the Supernova to get an autograph, which I'll get an action figure signed, because I love me a good autographed action figure. Now, I thought I'd get this 6-inch figure by Hasbro signed. It's based on the movie Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I thought I'd get a second one signed whilst I'm at it. Now, all my signed action figures need to be housed and protected in an acrylic case, like this one, and also house the certificate of authenticity. This one was signed by Kevin Eastman. The question is, where am I going to find an acrylic case that will house this one? And also the certificate of authenticity, which is about this big. It should fit right behind it inside. Now, I don't want to get one custom made like this one, which cost me an arm and a leg. Oh, I know, we can check with Glenn at the Ultimate Figure Protection. Actually, he's going to be at the Vintage and Modern Toy Fair in Malvern today. Let's head there now. Oh, hang on, wait, I've got to take this off, of course. Okay, so we have arrived at the toy fair, and gee whiz, it's busy. I've got to weave through this crowd. Now I've got to find Glenn at the Ultimate Figure Protection. Where is he? Where is he? Here he is, I found him. So I went to Glenn at Ultimate Figure Protection. Unfortunately, we tried a few cases, but none of them fit, and I was going to film the whole interaction, but he didn't feel comfortable with that, because fair enough, you know, because it doesn't make his business look the best that he didn't succeed in accommodating for me, but that's okay, it's fair enough. I get it. Shook his hand, and I bought a case off him anyway, like a Star Wars one that I needed, like a Kenner type one. So that was alright. In the meantime, I'll continue looking around for other things. I'm actually after something Terminator 2 related, because the little one and I have been playing the game, and so if I can find Terminator 2 figure, that'll be, you know, worth the trip. Plus the case that I got off Glenn. But anyway, the hunt continues for this case for the Ghostbusters Winston Zeddemore character. We'll get there in the end. Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyway, signing off. Ta-ta. Yeah, so I found some Terminator stuff, Terminator 2 vintage stuff. Switch it around. Yeah. No, normally he's with me. Normally I'll show it to him. But these are great. They're vintage as well.
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah.
So how much for the big one?
They're up there in price. This is $379, $329.
$379. It doesn't surprise me, because that's in mint condition, still in its box.
Even this is mint, yeah.
Our last action. How much is our last action hero?
$329.
$329. And these smaller ones?
Both of these is $79.
Yeah.
And that one's $129.
$129. Okay.
But they're
good. They're good condition. Yeah.
And look who I ran into. Simple Simon from the Simpleverse YouTube channel. I love watching his videos. It was great to finally meet him in the flesh and exchange pleasantries. Well, all in all, a good day at the toy fair.
I collect spores, molds and fungus. Now, I know that Ernie Hudson doesn't play Egon Spengler, but I felt like getting into character, and I know I can pull off the Jew look. Now, the hunt for my protective acrylic cases for my Winston signed figures continues. Now, I went on Amazon and I did check the dimensions before ordering, yet they still sent the ones with the wrong size. And it turns out they don't have the right ones, so I'll be getting a full refund. But never mind, I'll keep searching. I'll cross the streams if I have to. So anyway, my next update will be the photo op with Ernie Hudson at the Delt experience. And 2 days after that will be Supernova, where I'll see him again and I'll have my figures finally signed. Yeah, righto.
I managed to capture my boy Dan Delts, the event organizer, going above and beyond, taking photos with the fans' smartphones, so that way they'd have a photo to take home straight away. Well, enough said, I'm next. I was so nervous. As I was leaving, I said to Ernie, "I'll see you on Sunday at Supernova, yeah?" And he just responded, "Oh, okay." Like I was some sort of special person, and that he would remember me or something. Well, next stop, Supernova. I only had to wait about 20 minutes in the line before my turn. And it was at that moment I caught his attention. I told him that I loved the movie Leviathan, which is a 1989 horror sci-fi movie that he was in. He was delighted to hear that because he said he loved that movie and no one else had brought that up. And then I banged on about how when I was 6 years old, I wore out my Ghostbusters VHS tape. And eventually I decided to shut up and allow him to sign my action figures. Now it was time for Daniel Zachariou, the Supernova founder and director, to issue me with the certificates.
I've got them signed, see, today, and certificate of authenticity.
I checked out some statues from the pop culture store. I also got up to some shenanigans, took selfies with some cosplayers. Oh, and look, there's the guy from Wolf Creek. Well, after about 5 hours, I think it was time to head home. A good day at Supernova.
Well, hello again. So I just got back from Supernova and I managed to get the figures signed, and I got Ernie to put different quotes on them. So this one says, "Who you gonna call?" And the other one, he got, "Bustin' makes me feel good," from the very popular Ghostbusters song. Now I was finally able to find the correct acrylic protective cases. Now they're made by a company called Evo Retro and they were designed for their Hasbro G.I. Joe figures. Right, so the trick to get this in is you put the certificate of authenticity in first so it doesn't get stuck up the top here and you can't put the bottom lid on. And then you carefully slide in the action figure in like so. Very careful so you don't ruin the signature. Fits very snug like. And then you put the bottom lid on, like this. There we go. That's secure on, so you got the figure like this, all protected, including the certificate of authenticity on the back. Perfect for displaying and keeping it protected and preserved for a long time. Well, that wraps up this video. Hope you enjoyed, and remember, the next time someone asks you if you were a god, you say yes!
Boston makes me feel good.